What up? I see people that's still talking about this movie Sinners weeks after the release, and rightfully so. It's one of those types of movies now. Um, One of the reoccurring themes that kept popping up in the film was the vampires trying to enter the dwelling that they were in. Um, they just kept trying to enter. Can I come in? And obviously, that's typical shit for any vampire film, whether that's Sinners, Fright Night, Dust Till Dawn. Any vampire movie, they always have to have an entry or an invitation into your dwelling for them to, occupy your space. And it got me to thinking because it's like having a spiritual seed almost, a spiritual seed that's planted in multiple ways. And I recently went through something like this. They even made me think about it to bring it to y'all. But basically, it's like think about it like this. There's good seed and bad seed, and sometimes seeds are planted in your mind through thoughts or conversations. Hell, even things that you see, or let's say you watching something on television, or you reading something, or anything that's an outside force can influence you in a certain type of way, to where now it's planted this seed in your mind. So let's say you're talking to somebody and they're talking about a topic or a problem that they're going through. They're focusing on lack, insecurity, uncertainty, and now that conversation, you leave that conversation, and a seed has been planted in your mind of lack, uncertainty, fear, and you might have something going on in your life where at first you was kind of stable, but after that conversation, now you over there like having second thoughts, and you over there looking at the future and like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how this gonna go down. And it's as simple as that. Now you're toying with this thing, or you playing with it in the sense of, are you going to allow this seed to grow and spread? Because it's just like a damn vampire bite. You know, a bad seed or any type of seed, it's gonna spread like a virus. Again, think about a vampire bite. You bite somebody, and next thing you know, they're a vampire, and they're gonna just keep spreading the virus. Or good seed can blossom into good thoughts, positivity, being upbeat, being very focused on your goal, or something good that's gonna happen to you, instead of focusing on bad, knowing that everything gonna be all right. That's what it's all about in this life, bro. And so, like, you get that from that movie, and then there's also this scene. There's a scene in the movie Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino, and there's a scene where Al Pacino was talking to Keanu Reeves, and he's basically telling him everything in life is a negotiation. I had to learn this shit too, and I really peeped it when I watched it one time, and I was like, yo, that shit makes a lot of sense because everything is a negotiation. When you're talking to somebody, or you're allowing a certain space, or a situation, or a person, or an environment to permeate your space, your dwelling, and it's up to you. We're always in negotiation with something in this life, whether we're in negotiation with ourselves, we're in negotiation with other people, with situations, thoughts, bad seeds, good seeds, because every thought that you have, or every situation, you're at the negotiation table of, are you going to allow this to, again, permeate your space? So again, let's go back to the example of talking to somebody, talking to somebody, or just having these negative thoughts. Me personally, I don't really like talking to negative folks. And not even not really. I don't like talking to negative folks. Like, the moment that I'm having a conversation with somebody and they start going left, or they start telling me about their problems, I'll offer my advice one time, and it's gonna be real quick. It's gonna be something like, to the effect of, "Oh man, that what I'm saying, it ain't as bad as you think. Keep it pushing, whatever, whatever." If they continue to dwell on that, then I'll excuse myself from that space, because sooner or later that shit gonna rub off on me. And my negotiations are very firm. I don't want that shit in my space. I don't want those thoughts in my mind. I don't want to think or even view things like that. Um, or it can go down with a situation. You could be having an upbeat day, and then you might get an email, a phone call, a notice on your door. You might get some type of mail, something, some notification that just it could be problematic or appear to be problematic, and it's the negotiation table is setting up again. Are you going to allow this to sway your whole day, to sway your whole feeling, or are you going to be cool and just be like, look, man, I'm not going to allow this to get me down, and I'm just going to keep it pushing. But those things right there, man, is very important because I see how that shit can be. And like I said, I just recently experienced that where I started tripping out about something and I caught myself, and I'm glad that I have the wisdom to catch it to where I can see it before it spread into some uncontrollable thing where now it's controlling my actions, my thoughts. Um, you know, and speaking of that, it's not even just thoughts. Like one of the things that got me was I talked to some people who've been talking about some, negative, uncertain things, and then I also started going backwards with a lot of my actions because your actions can do it too. That's a negotiation. Whether or not, let's say that you started this year and you had certain habits or actions that you wanted to cut out, and you've been doing good for these last couple of weeks, but sure enough, something causes you to, I don't know, go backwards, backtrack us to some degree. Well, now you basically are now telling the universe and telling every cell of your being that this is cool. You know what I'm saying? We're going backwards, and sooner or later, the universe is going to respond to that and say, all right, bet. We're going to go backwards with a lot of things. We're going to, get you back to the place that you just came from that you didn't like being in. So it's a negotiation. So I ain't going to hold y'all for much longer, man. That's just my quick ass rant about C's and negotiation tables, man. Um, just know it's real out here. I'm going to get at y'all later. Peace.